Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tenian, and I'm very excited about this Halloween season. This channel is really going to put an emphasis on the horror genre throughout the season. And speaking of which, if you're a horror fan, I would recommend you check out our new series, the Halloween Horror Fest, which I do with my brother. And we're going to be putting out weekly horror reviews and taking a deeper dive into some of these horror films. So, yeah, if you're a fan of the genre, yeah, you might check that out. You might find something of interest there. But in today's video, I'm going to focus on Coralie Fargeat's new sci-fi body horror film, The Substance, starring Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley. And I'm going to not do a review of this movie, but just more of an analytical discussion of how it addresses the commodification of women's bodies in a media-saturated culture. Particularly, I'm going to focus on one scene in the movie where Sue, played by Margaret Qualley, opens the fridge and takes a sip of Coke, which seems banal enough, right? But I think it has a deeper significance beyond its mere product placement, and also has some maybe interesting tie-ins with the themes in The Matrix, surprisingly enough. Honestly, as of now, I think I can say that The Substance is my top film of 2024. I loved it. I recommend that you go see it in the theaters. I think I'll go even further and say that I think it's one of the most cutting critiques of American consumer culture since Verhoeven's RoboCop from 1987. And both RoboCop and The Substance share that dystopian lens and that scathing satire. The film takes aim at the ways identity, beauty, and sexuality are sold to us, while the female body itself is consumed, often violently, in the process. In The Substance, we follow Elizabeth Sparkle, played by Demi Moore, a 50-year-old aerobics star whose life falls apart when she's fired on her birthday. Desperate to reclaim her youth and success, she turns to a mysterious lab that offers her the Substance, a serum that transforms her into a younger, enhanced version of herself, named Sue, played by Margaret Qualley. Sue isn't just a clone. She's a symbiotic version of Elizabeth, and the process of transformation involves a grotesque Cronenberg-style birthing scene. Sue becomes the new face of Sparkle's aerobics show, her beauty propelling her to fame, while Sparkle herself lies dormant, drained by Sue's need to remain active. Now, I want to focus on one specific scene, which I think really encapsulates the core themes of the movie, which occurs about halfway into the film when Sue takes a sip of Coke, which, yes, is trivial on the surface, except the way this is shot transforms it into something almost fetishistic, just in the way the camera slows down and emphasizes the click of the can opening and her lips pressing against it in this sensual way. And again, I think really reflecting and driving home those themes of consumption and commodification. And I think also a parallel is made with Sue herself, who, like Cola, is the perfect commodity in a sense, in the way that she has become this image of consumption for consumption, who is consumed for its promise of desire, youth, and beauty. This scene reminded me immediately of Slavoj Žižek's infamous Coca-Cola monologue in the film The Pervert's Guide to Ideology.
It's getting warm. It's no longer the real Coke, and that's the problem.
Žižek calls Coke the perfect commodity, not just because of what it is, but because of the indescribable excess it represents. We're not just consuming a drink, but the fantasy of desire itself.
When it's cold, properly served, it has a certain attraction. All of a sudden, this can change into shit.
The paradox of Coke is that you're thirsty. You drink it, but the more you drink it, the thirstier you get. This insatiable hunger perfectly mirrors Sue's arc in The Substance. Her desire to maintain youth and beauty becomes an endless cycle of consumption, using up her dormant body like a commodity. Here's where the Matrix comes into play. Žižek uses this phrase, the desert of the real, which he got from the movie The Matrix, where, of course, Morpheus uses that exact phrase. But the expression originally was coined by philosopher Jean Baudrillard in his groundbreaking work, Simulacra and Simulation, and basically refers to this collapse of any distinction between simulation and reality, where the real world becomes inseparable from the hyperreal, the world of commodities and images. In The Substance, Sue is essentially a simulacra, a hyperreal image of femininity, beauty, and success, but with no real identity beneath it. Her existence is pure semblance, an effect of consumption. Like Žižek's Coke, she's the illusion of excess, a body without limits, but doomed to corruption.
All of a sudden, this can change into shit.
This commodified excess leads to some of the most horrifying moments in the movie. In the third act, Sue's attempts to immortalize her image backfire, and instead of eternal youth, she paradoxically accelerates Sparkle's aging by draining her of her stabilizing fluid. And her once beautiful fairy tale fantasy of beauty and youth turns into this grotesque nightmare where Sparkle's body literally decays under her consumption. The ultimate horror comes at the film's climax when Sue murders Sparkle and injects her own body with an activating agent. The result is a monstrous fusion of Sue and Sparkle, which I see as a grotesque reflection of the commodified female body, which has become this hybrid of desires, images, and semblances. And yes, this is a full-on body horror movie in the Cronenberg vein. And the intent is definitely there to shock and terrify you with its visuals, yet I think also within all its body horror shock value, there's a really smart commentary on postmodern society and just the way it fetishizes youth, beauty, and consumption. Just like RoboCop, this film is not going for subtlety. It is raw and in your face, and I really love it for that. I love it for going there and taking you to those dark places. So anyway, let me know if you've seen this movie, and if you have, please drop your comments below, and also don't forget to subscribe and like the video for more movie reviews, and especially horror movie reviews this season, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon and bringing more content for you.